the Daniel chapter 10, scripture. More on the Bible side. So, and to all the governors and captains and lieutenants that were under him from India unto Ethiopia, of 127 prophets that told verse goat chariot, even to where the fat to 40:29. The link with First Esdras 3 and 6. give a cousin. So, that would be the expression, right? Yeah, yeah, you're nigh to the right. Guys, you you you're part of the have charge. Kind of royal, just to see something that just on. Oh, wow, right. Yeah, even we go argue America. Everything. Stop. Wine is the strongest. 11, the second wrote, the king is strongest. 12, the third wrote, women are strongest, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory. Right, so these are the three answers. And as you're going to read, not today, we'll probably read it. Wait, Shalom. The sister just dialed in.
Shalom Israel. Happy Sabbath. Now, yeah, you had a lot of static in the beginning. It's gone off and on. So I don't know if I missed something or not.
Yeah, the sister just dialed in saying the same thing. It says live, and then I got the green light, so I'm not really sure what to do here. Maybe
you know what
if
I always say, Navia, what I always say, modern technology, was correct?
Yeah. Just like any stream.
Because I can't even get it on my cell phone.
Okay, you know what I'll do? Since I still have the event, let me close the Hangout and I'll open up a new Hangout. Maybe that'll help.
Okay. Fine.
Hopefully it doesn't drop it. I just created a new window. Maybe that'll help some. Yeah, just chime back in if it's still an issue. Yeah, try and refresh your browser now. Maybe it might help.
It did. The water.
Okay, are you on the bar? Okay. Hopefully everybody else can see too. So just to recap, as I was going in and out, we just read the first Esdras 3 going into the 3 bodyguards of Darius. They came up with an idea to say, let's have a contest to see who can come up with the wisest answer to what is strongest. What is strongest in the world? They all wrote down their answers for what was strongest. It says the first wrote in verse 10, wine is strongest. It says the second, king is the strongest. And the third wrote, women are strongest, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory. Right? We're not going to read it this Sabbath, but probably in the following Sabbath, we'll go into who gave each of those answers and who's going to win. This is verse 13. Now, when the king was risen up, they took their writings and delivered them unto him. And so he read them. And sending forth, he called all the princes of Persia and Media, and the governors, and the captains, and lieutenants, and the chief officers, and sat him down in the royal seat of judgment, and the writings were read before them. He said, O the young men, and they shall declare their own sentences. So they were called and came in. So now he's going to have the men come forth. Whoever spoke on a certain answer, he's going to defend his case as far as why he says this is the strongest. Verse 17, and he said unto them, declare unto us your mind concerning the writings. Then began the first, who had spoken of the strength of wine. So now we're going to have the case of the person who said, wine is the strongest, right? As we say in the Hebrew, yayin, right? Or kazak shata, right? Strong drink. He said, thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine. It causeth all men to err that drink it. Right? So he's going to give his case on why a case of wine, but do you in if you're not careful. So he says, it causeth all men to err that drink it, right? Because we know when you drink, it puts you at ease, right? But then we know when you drink more than what's becoming, or as we say, beyond your limit, say and do a lot of stuff that you shouldn't be saying and doing. And oftentimes, depending on how much you drink, you may not remember the next day what happened. You won't remember what you said, what you did, and with who, right? And this is not a good place to be. Now, in scriptures, it's lawful to drink wine, but it's unlawful to get drunk, right? We want to make sure we understand that. Because you have certain so-called Christians, they'll say, you shouldn't drink at all, right? But now, we know that's not the case, because we know that was a livelihood for many men and women in ancient times, even to this day, right? We even see with after the flood, what was Noah's profession? He was a husbandman, meaning he grew a vineyard. And he had a little bit too much to drink, but it wasn't wicked to grow a vineyard and to ferment grapes. So it's been a profession that's going back many millennia, right? Just like agriculture, just a part of agriculture.
Yeah.
Con, 1 second.
You know, you keep going off and on the live stream.
Okay, let me close it and open it again. One second here. Was the same thing happening in the previous chapter or no?
No.
Just now all of a sudden?
I don't want this word out now, yeah.
Nobody's on the Wi-Fi, right? No one's getting downloads, right?
No.
I'm talking to the brothers here in Philly, because make sure it's not my tablet. Turn that off. Yeah, just make sure nobody's streaming right now or has some kind of upload connected to the Wi-Fi here, so it doesn't hinder the traffic.
You better get this word out while it can be found out here, so you know what's happening.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then for the folks that say, "Oh yeah, I'll get around to that, keeping that Sabbath day. I'll get around to that dietary law." Yeah, that sounds good, guys. You know, keep up the good work.
What is the thing in Genesis? In the days of Noah?
Yeah. And they'll be looking and say, "Where the brothers at?" And most are already taking care of those of us who are called, right? They'll make that way, and then at that time it'll be too late for many of us. Yeah, absolutely.
It's still out now, yeah.
Still not working, huh?
No.
Mm. I guess just try to listen in for the remainder, because we don't have much.
I'm gonna have to do it on the phone now, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Keep going in and out.
Yeah, I really wish I could help, because it tells me I'm clear on my end.
You know what the deal is, all right?
Yeah.
All right. Shalom, Israel.
All right, Shalom, Salakia. Because at least when it's out, typically I can see it here. It's like it's out. But here everything looks free and clear. So I don't know. And our viewers are going up, so apparently they can see what's going on, but maybe not. Okay. All right. So just try to refresh your browser. Try to connect to another Wi-Fi if you have that option, and hopefully it should come clear. And if not, just dial into the teleconference as we finish up. So I'll read 18 again. So first Esdras 3:18, it says, "He said thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine! It causes all men to err that drink it." Then it says in verse 19, "It maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one, of the bondman and of the freeman, of the poor man and of the rich." Right? So he's pretty much putting out there saying, yeah, wine doesn't care about your background, doesn't care about your estate, what family you come out of, right? You get drunk, it doesn't matter. All the money in the world is not gonna be able to fix, inebriation, right? So it's an equal opportunity. It was equal opportunity stupor, so to speak. It doesn't matter, what family you come from, what kind of life you had. You drink too much, it's gonna take you.
The Proverbs 20:1. It says, "Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise."
Excellent verse. Kind of link that with verse 19 then. So Proverbs 20 and 1. Chapter 3, we just read verse 19.
Third chapter, second chapter.
Third chapter. Kind of link that with verse 19. Proverbs 21, link it with First Esdras chapter 3, verse 19. So doesn't care. Verse 20, it says, it turneth also every thought into jollity and mirth, that a man remembereth neither sorrow nor death. See that? So we got I got a link for this one too. In Ecclesiastes, which is a good verse to show that it's not wicked to drink wine. We just know that what? It's wicked when you drink too much of it and get drunk from it. And we know all our bodies aren't the same. Just like certain people need a certain amount of sleep, while as a general rule, some people may need more sleep than others. Some folks may only need a little bit of sleep, right? Depending. But all in all, you know you need sleep. So when it comes to this, the idea is to know if you are going to drink, know how much is going to put you beyond just being, you know, somewhat inebriated, right? Or as they might say in the world, you know, take the edge off, right? Or I'm nice, right? That's the expression we hear people say a lot. I'm nice.
Bent.
I thought bent was going a little too far.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Okay.
Because nice could be you went too far.
I always thought nice was like,
What do you think?
yeah, like I don't, you know, I'm cool right now, but it's like if I go beyond, if I get more, that's when I get bent.
I'll do the context. Because of the context, I've been full bent in the past.
Yeah, me too.
And so I asked, how you feeling? I'm nice.
Nice.
It's all context. I'm
Right.
nice.
I don't need
Yeah, I'm good.
Right. So yeah, so context, right?
Context.
Get it to a point where it's like you're still aware, but you just, you know, you're calm. That's what he's saying. Like, to me, that's you going above and beyond. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to read a verse in a minute that deals with that. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 19. You just write that down, where it tells you wine maketh merry. Let you know that it's not wicked to drink wine, right? It's meant to give you jollity, we read, mirth or gladness, right? It says so that a man remembereth neither sorrow nor death. That's why even in Proverbs also, you can link not only Ecclesiastes 10:19, you can also link Proverbs chapter 31, verses 6 and 7.
What?
31.
Verses 6 and 7. Where Lemuel's mother, she tells him what? Only give strong drink unto them that be ready to perish, and wine to those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Right? So put you at ease to just say take the edge off. Right? You need to do something you know, trying or, you know, tough to overcome. You say, oh, and we even hear it now today, you know, when you're dealing with something tough, people say, oh man, I need a drink. Right? Let's say they need it, but we know that it can be used to help, right? Calm the nerves, soothe the nerves.
I think that's correct. Correct.
Y'all can understand, smart.
Oh. I'm going to read this. Leviticus chapter 10, verse 8. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, saying, Do not drink wine, nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation. No, the priest is not supposed to drink any strong drink of wine. The Most High will kill you.
No, that's not what it says.
He said, lest ye,
That's not what it says.
You sure?
lest ye die.
There's a piece that you're missing.
Right.
Read again.
Verse 8, And the Lord spake unto Aaron, saying, Do not drink wine nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he knows
I
what he
read
missed.
what he said.
No, you missed the part. Because it
Verse
says,
10,
no, because what you read was that they cannot go and drink anything, any strong drink, whatever, when they go into the tabernacle of the congregation. What you said was the priests are not supposed to drink. And you just left it like
yeah,
that.
oh yeah.
That's the most important part that you left out.
Right.
When you go into the tabernacle of the congregation, you can't be drinking anything.
Right.
Right? Because this is a holy thing that you're going in and dealing with the Most High service. You don't want to go in there incoherent, bumping into things, you mess yourself up, you're
Right.
doing the wrong. Can't do that.
Right. You don't drink nothing.
Not when you go into the tabernacle.
Oh, look, this lamb has a blemish. Oh,
Yeah.
offered anyway.
Yeah.
Most sides like, oh, really? Bow. Put you to death. Yeah, man. That's it. That's what's key. So yeah, we want to make sure that, you know, when we bring out those kind of verses, because folks will jump on that. They heard what you said. They'll go, yeah, see, I told you. We can't drink it all.
Yeah, that's what they say. See, a man of God ain't supposed to be drinking.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then when Jesus did that miracle, it was grape juice. Oh boy.
He drink wine.
He-
He drink juice.
When you go into the Greek though, it says vino. So it's like, sure about that? Yeah. Certain things it's like it's here, but it's like we're supposed to have understanding. Right? It's not like Christ is gonna say yes and explain it again each and every time. It's like when Paul wrote his letters, people get confused, but if you have understanding and read it, you go, oh, okay, because of what else I read, I know what Paul means when he says this here, says this there. But when Christ taught this, I know what he meant when he said this here and said that there, or did this here and did that there, because I weigh the scriptures in the balance. I understand. The Holy Spirit has allowed me to understand. So yeah. So that was Leviticus chapter 10 and verse 8. All right. Link that with verse 20 as well. To go with Ecclesiastes 10:19, Proverbs 31:6 and 7.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 31 to what we were talking about nice being bent and all that. So it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 31 and 27, it says, wine is as good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? But it was made to make men glad.
It is.
Verse 28, wine measurably drunk and in season bringeth gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind. Right? So making sure that you know your limits. Measurably drunken and moderately drunken in season. Meaning not talking about the wine season, but it's meaning there's a place and time for everything, right? You're not going to work drinking wine, or you're not doing things that is not the place to have wine. Like if you're at a banquet, or if you just at home relaxing, or that's a perfect time to have a glass of wine and just
Right.
chill out.
Right.
Or if you are amongst brethren and you just want to sit and have something to drink and just, you know, talking, that's fine,
Mhm.
right? But you have to know your limit. That's the key.
Right.
Come.
Hey, it's lunchtime.
It's funny you mention that too, because we read about what in Acts, right? The miracle in Acts chapter 2, when they speak with tongues they didn't grow up in, right? Understand each other in their own tongue, right? And Peter saw what the people were saying. They were like, "What's going on here?" You know, these men must be filled with new wine, right? And then what did Peter say? He said, "How can these men be filled with wine, seeing as the third hour in the day, right? Like 9 a.m., right?" So even back then, it was like, you know, people make that joke, like, well, "You getting started a little early there, aren't you?" You know, it's like 10 o'clock, and you bent already. You nice already. What's going on here? I know I think we all probably had experience, you know, in our work careers where I work with folks. You saw them in the morning, took a whiff, looked them in the eye, and you said, "Look at your watch." It's like, okay, careful, you know, you might get in trouble.
I had a old Edomite supervisor years ago, my first job, and every now and again she'd go in these meetings. She comes storming out the meetings from wherever she came, and she go in the office, just like close the door, kind of, you know, to
Sounding bad already.
yeah, like to kind of say, you know, let's discuss. She just came out of a meeting. Oh, I hate what's going on. She'd been there for a while. It wasn't until one day we had we took the whole team out lunch, and we came back. And I go in the office, and it was like one of those days where, you know, we had like a little outing and we wasn't going to do much work for the rest of the day. And she called into the office. We kind of had a nice time at the lunch. She calls me in, opens a drawer. She got a whole drawer full of nips in the drawer. I was like, yeah. She was like, you want one? I was like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, like, you know, the little nip bottles of like whiskey, vodka, rum, whatever. She had them in her
The
drawer.
little samples.
Yeah.
Samples.
Little $2.99, whatever. I'm gonna see, $2.99. I was like, oh, now I know what be going on with you coming in out of those meetings and slam that door.
Oh, okay.
You pop a little nip, and because you know what? Because we just read that, you know, sometimes when you're going through things, that wine or that strong drink kind of eases your pain, relaxes you, get your mind off things. And she does that, but people abuse it, right? It becomes like you're out. Right? Anytime any little stress happens, you continuously drinking and drinking, and then you become a habitual or an addict to drinking, you know, whatever it may be. So yeah, you gotta, you know, too much of anything, not good, right? Even the simplest of things like water. You consume too much water at one time, you can die. Right? You're like, what? Like, yeah, people have done it where they guzzled like too much water at one time, and then
and then that's it.
And it messed them up. So you gotta understand things in season, quantity, you know your body, you know what's good for it, what's not good for it. Scripture tell you to prove that which is good and evil for your body, and then stay away from the stuff that's evil.
Come. Yeah, the verse in Acts is Acts chapter 2. You can start from 12. 12 and then go down to 15. You can add that to the list as well. So Acts chapter 2, 12 to 15. Where you see that that the wisdom being implied about drinking in season. It says, and they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, what meaneth this? Talking about being able to speak in other tongues, other languages, right? Without being learned in them. And understanding people's language that you didn't know, now you understand like it's your first language. 13, others mocking said, these men are full of new wine. But Peter, standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice and said unto them, Ye men of Judea, and all ye that dwell in Jerusalem, be this known unto you, and hearken unto my words. For these are not drunken, as ye suppose, seeing it is but the 3rd hour of the day. Right? So we see even Peter acknowledging the time, the time and season for drinking. Like the 3rd hour of the day is like 9 a.m., right? So it's like, it's in the morning. These guys aren't drunk, right? So even then, it was like they knew to drink during a certain, after hours, right? After the day's work. Because, like you said, you're working during the day, you're a day laborer, right? What good is it you starting off the day? Are you trying to, get things done and receive instruction, and you messing stuff up? You might be fired before the day is over, right? Depending on what you do, how you may screw up. You may even cost someone's life. Right? And that's serious business now, right? It was one little drink, and then that's what happened. You guys remember that movie, the Denzel Washington movie, where he was the airplane pilot, and he saved the plane, but what they went into was like they had a case to see, what would happen behind the thing. He was revered as a hero because he landed the plane that was going to crash. But the irony was he was drinking before he did the flight. So it's kind of like one of those weird situations where it's like, damn, he's a hero. He landed a plane when most pilots would have crashed, and he saved this many lives when he did it. But it came out that we were getting toasty before the ride, and it's like, even though that may not have been the cause of the crash, it's like it changes the dynamic of the scenario. But there's a scene in that movie, oh man, right before towards the end, where they made sure to put him in a room because he had been clean for a good period of time. If we had to go before his case to present his side, he had people checking on him, and the hotel room he was staying in didn't have any alcohol in the fridge, right? But then it was like he was just kind of sitting down, and you see the draft blow, and it's like, where's that wind coming from? And the middle partition door that separates from the other room was open. And then he opens that door, and he sees like there's a window open in the other room that's blowing, right? He closed the window, and they didn't check the room that was adjoined. He opens up the refrigerator in the other room, and it's like full of a bunch of, what do you call them, the nips? And it was like, when you open it up, it was like, you could see the color. It was just like, you see him kind of look, and he's just, like that side, he was on that borderline relapse mode. It's like, close it back. And he takes out that one, gets ready to drink it, and then he sits it back on the top of the fridge. And it's like, you see him kind of walk away, and like zooms in on that one bottle very slowly as you're watching it. It's just like, do it. Don't do it, Denzel. Don't do it. And out of nowhere, you just see his hand. That scene, oh my God. This is, I think for anyone who can relate, to who's been through that, it's just like, it really conveys the meaning behind, power of addiction, and how, you could tell yourself, oh, one little drink, just make a little stop, before I head home. And then for people who are that, who get that involved, they take that one little drink, they close their eyes, 3 months goes by, just like that. They're like, what just happened? They don't know where they are, where their family's at. They might be across the country at that point. It's just like, it's gone.
One of those things where, in some cases, you're escaping the reality, and whether you drink, get high, whatever it is, certain things you're doing, you're escaping that reality of the burdens or the pressures or whatever it is that you're dealing with. And then that place that you're at when you do drink or you do get high becomes your solace. And it's like, in your mind, you're thinking, this is great. This is a great place to be, right? I'm not worried about anything. I'm not stressed about anything. And then when you're not, then you're back into that reality world of being, I got to deal with all this stuff. I got to deal with it in my childhood. I got to deal with it in this work. I got to deal with this guy. I got to deal with my finances, whatever it is. and then it's like, and right now I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to deal with it. Let me slide back over here to this nice place, right? So you consistently want to be in the nice place all the time.
Yeah.
You don't realize that being in a nice place has made you become this quote unquote addict, and you can't function in reality anymore. Right? Yeah, and then now you got people in the reality telling you, yo, man, you got something wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Perfectly fine. Right? And then it becomes that battle until you know, and that's why while you're in the reality, when you're in the when you're in just your normal state, you have to always try to balance in dealing with circumstances and things going around, so that those things that become the crutch don't become your reality. And that's that problem. Like, even with all this suicide stuff going on, people go through these things, but they kind of are already figuring out that, you know, okay, the drugs thing, you know, I'm already on prescription drugs after a while too. Like Kanye, he's one who's bugged out of his mind, and he admits, yeah, they gave him a whole table full of drugs, try to figure him out. But over time, it becomes one of those things where it's like, I don't know, I can't figure it out. Time to check out. Right? Yeah. I heard his song, his album, the first song in his album is, I thought about murdering you. I sometimes think about killing myself, but I love myself more than I love you. This one I'm thinking about murdering you. And you listen, and it's repetitive, and you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Right. But he messed up in his mind. And that's his way of telling the world, messed up, man. This is what I do. So when he does kill himself, if it ever comes to that, nobody can ever say, oh, no, he never was on that land. He's there. So a lot of people that's there. Some are silent, others are vocal. Some are silent, others are vocal of where they are in that space. But, you know, drawing it back, strong drink wine is just a suppressant for a while. It kind of suppresses all of the anxiety and stuff that's going on till it becomes your vice, and then it has jacked you up. Can't function without it. Start showing up to work drunk, showing up to school drunk. Right. Got a meeting like the Denzel when you about to go into a hearing, for me to cope in here, I got to be drunk. For me to go do my music, I got to be high. Yeah.
Remember the temptation? Paul?
Yeah.
Paul was drinking nothing but milk for it, right? That's all he drank was milk. And he took it, tasted it as one drink. What happened to him? He couldn't function. He couldn't function. He always had to have a drink. He said, I don't know Paul. All he just drank milk. That's all he could, drinking milk. Until he took well, you might as well say cloud 9 for him. Okay.
David Ruffin.
Then after that, he was uncontrollable then. You know what I mean?
I don't want to say one is worse than the other, but one would assume that being in the industry is a little bit more heightened because of the fishbowl effect, where it seems like you're in the fishbowl and everyone else is just looking at you. Right. You're not yourself anymore. You're being watched all the time. You're being pulled all the time. You have to meet all these dates all the time. Right. You have to act a certain way all the time. Right. How the hell do I do that?
Always on.
Always on. Always on.
Yeah.
And how do I do that and maintain? But that glass of wine or that marijuana or that whatever, that's the only thing that's going to have me cope.
But it's like when you're in that type of environment, your brain is racing to solve problems fast. Right? It's like, you got to meet this. How do I solve it? I got to meet this. How do I solve it? I got to meet this. How do I solve it? After a while, you know what? I got to slow down because my mind been racing, trying to solve this equation in a short time, right? Or else my lifestyle is gonna be changed, and I don't like the way my lifestyle would change. You know, if I don't make this game, if I don't make that, if I don't solve. So oftentimes it's your brain trying to solve problems fast, and in the meantime, you're getting burned out because you're racing to try to solve so many problems at the time. So now, every now and then, you know, you get some drugs. So what happened is, even though you have to solve the problem, you get a drink, whether you solve it or not, it doesn't matter because now your brain relaxes. You know, so after a while, I said, man, I like this.
Right.
You know, I have all these things to solve. All I had to do is just get a drink, and then it relaxes me. Let me get another one.
Right.
You know, so meanwhile, but that doesn't make the problem that you gotta solve go away. It's not the problem just keep adding up, keep adding up. So now the way you used to solve the problem sober, you don't even care anymore. Now all the problem pile up, right? And then you get a drink, and the next thing you know, everything go haywire. This is about, you know, solving problem fast, but sometimes you get burned out.
Right.
And it's like your dopamine system just, you know, anything you do make you feel good. And sometimes some people don't need a drink. Sometimes they just need to take a walk. They need somebody to talk to. You make them feel good. But that's their drug. You know, if it doesn't have chemical reaction that could need the alcohol in your system.
Right.
So some people, they need to, you know, just go out or let me go for an outing, let me go to a movie. Then they come back, they relax. Right. But the drug here has the quick effect. It goes to it fast and acts in your brain, you know.
Right.
You know.
You got you.
They got it, yeah.
This is a topic in of itself. This makes you think of I haven't really kept up with it, but when the Empire first came out, that TV show,
Empire, yeah.
they had that Timberland song. Remember? It was the one son that had the Edomite wife. That,
Oh, okay.
what was he? He was bipolar, I think.
Bipolar.
But that Timberland song they had in the soundtrack was kind of heavy. Like the lyrics were like, everybody has their drug, medication for pain. You try to pop, you say you got to pop the pain. That's what he was going into. Like everybody has their drug to get through whatever hardship they're trying to go through or whatever problem, like you said, they're trying to solve. Like that was like the theme of the song. And like in the lyrics, he's talking about like, you know, being in squalor, you know, being at the bottom, trying to, you know, work through things, and then trying to use that medication to help you through.
And it's everybody. If you don't have a formula to solve your problem, you're gonna find yourself in a tough situation, right? Because this system, the setup is made up of problems. Right? You don't have to go look for them; they're all around. It could be there for you, right? So you gotta have a formula to solve problems. Right? And that's your formula. Here's how I deal with this. Here's how I deal with that. Everybody has their own formula.
Something that's repeatable.
Right.
Because like you said, like that formula, that'll give you some sense of solace, some sense of, okay, I can deal with this. I can take control of my situation and overcome. Very important. You're right.
Art, I don't want to say imitating life, but art, now I understand reality. You know, speaking of that song you had with the Empire, the J. Cole album that he had, KOD, Kill Our Demons, because they're realizing that we are jacked up generation because the generation is filled up on prescription drugs, illegal drugs, wine, alcohol, whatever it is. You are filled up with all this stuff to run away from your demons or your vice, right? And that's what his thing was. And another guy just came out with another one's said kids see ghosts. And it was the same thing, like the stuff that we are seeing and dealing with in this society and world is crazy. And how do you cope? Right? How do you function with all this stuff that's just pushed at you, that you have to, your mind has to ingest it, it has to eat it. It's eating it constantly. Same way your body is eating all this chemicals and all this jacked up food, and after a while it had its effect on you. Same thing with the mind. All this information, bad, good, everything's coming all at once, and you got to figure out how to cope. And it affects you and messes you up. You get depression, you get this, all these things. And for us, the best and only way to kind of navigate through all of that is the truth, because the truth kind of sets a standard, sets the balance of understanding the landscape. When you don't understand the landscape, it's like in Deuteronomy where it says, when you go, how's it quoted? You're gonna have fear of your go out, live like day to day. You don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
67, I think. You should have none assurance of that life.
Yes, that.
I think it's Deuteronomy, it's either verse 66 or 67.
Yes, that verse. Where you don't have no assurance, no understanding, no thought of the day-to-day, what's coming tomorrow, why it's happening.
Right.
It causes you to think and think certain ways. Whereas for us, we understand the landscape. So these things don't catch us off guard. It's not shocking. It's not like, oh God, oh woe is me. Why is he going over there? Why is that war happening? It's not like that to us because we have somewhat of a comfort.
Okay.
Right? Scripture is what comforts us to kind of have that assurance of what the next thing is coming,
Right.
or the things that are happening. We have that comfort level, whereas most people don't have those things. And all of these things that surround you, that's given to you, you know, it's, hey, do you feel tired when you come home from work? You're like, I always feel tired when I come home from work. Take this pill. You're like, hey, if the pill's gonna make me not tired, I'll take it. Right? That's just in your face, but there's subtle ones that do the same thing. That's not a put in your mouth pill. It's that your mind digested pill, and you're like, oh, that's good. And you now are sucked into that, and then you continue to go there to escape that. It's just like an endless amount of, Satan is great with his endless amounts of vices to put out there for everybody.
Right.
You know what makes it tricky too? I see your hand. We can see the ones clearly that are unlawful, right? Based on scripture.
Right.
But now, even for us in the truth, the lawful ones, Satan's found a way to make the lawful ones destroy you. And you, like you said, overindulge in it. Now it's just like even fun, just having fun. You know, entertainment. It's like, yeah, you know nothing wrong with entertainment, having fun, going for a walk, going to a play, going on a trip. But now, you can have a lifestyle obsession with having fun too much. What was the scripture saying in Ecclesiastes, right, about be not given to much good cheer, neither be tied to the expense thereof. So it's like now something that's lawful can become like the thing that destroys you. That's your drug. That's your, like you said, Paquad, that's your fun is your dopamine rush. Now you feel like you need that all the time. And when it comes to your affairs, it's like, yeah. You know?
That's what scriptures have the formula for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? At the same time, even that, if it's not being applied, properly, that can even be, misunderstood. Right? Even though you have it, but there's a way to apply it, right? And also society, instead of helping or teach people to think critically, right? It's better, it's easier to just give them that drug. Because I mean, if you have people start thinking critically how to solve their problems, there's a lot of things you wouldn't even need.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't need, there's a lot of pharmaceutical products that's out there. You wouldn't even need them, right? So people are not thinking critically. It's like when you go to school, you take math. Not too many people like math, but math is about solving problems, right? And then when people take a math class, what they do, they try to make sure that the class is over with as soon as possible. Right? Get the grade so they can give up. And that's life. Life is about solving problems. If you're running away from that, what about when you face real life situations? What are you gonna do? You can't run away from that. It's not gonna be over. As long as you're breathing, it's not like you're leaving the class. Only when you're dead, you're not gonna have to deal with problems. So now, life is real problem, and then you're running away from it. You're gonna have to find something to cope with it. So that's where all the drugs come in.
That's everybody has to be, science and engineering and mathematics, but it's just like even if if you go to liberal arts or some kind like that, still have some kind of semblance of level of mathematics, this level of arithmetic. Like you said, people are afraid of the numbers. Just like they hear the help. refresh real quick. Oh, it did on its own. Just hit a refresh on your browser if you lost the live stream. Mine tapped out for a second, but it came back in. Way it's like
we are having a trip that you have a problem. You have to trust in the Most High. When you burn out, you have no way out, right? You use Proverbs 3 and 5, right? When you burn out, you don't have a solution, you don't have a formula, you try everything. That's when you like, at least you try. Then, the Most High would help you find another formula. Send help to get your formula to solve. But just sit there, pray, and not make any effort, it's not gonna work.
Yep, be doers of the word, not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Yes, indeed. Another verse you can tack on. I'll pull this one. You read the next two verses. Back to First Esdras chapter 3. Verse 21. First Esdras 3 and 21. It says, "And it maketh every heart rich, so that man remembereth neither king nor governor, and it maketh to speak all things by talents." So verse 21, you read Proverbs 31 again, but then just read above. Proverbs 31, verses 4 and 5. Going to the Lemuel's mother's advice. She says, Proverbs 31 and 4, "It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink." And once again, we want to make sure we don't do the Leviticus 10 thing where we just read that and say, see, the priest can't drink at all. It's not saying that kings or princes can't drink. Verse 5 is going to explain. "Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted," because people's lives are in their hands, right? People's lives are going to be either saved or destroyed based on their ability to make decisions, to judge matters. But how can they do that when they're tipsy, or they're loosey goosey, or they're nice, or they're bent, or they're wasted, or any other phrase they got out there? They got new ones every year coming out, right? For what it means to be out of it, right? Faded, right? Sometimes it's not just alcohol, it's, you got terms for other stuff, right? Because, we got, within the 90s, like pill popping wasn't really a thing, but it seemed like from the late 90s up into 2000, like pills got into the whole hip hop thing. It's like mad songs are talking about, out the Molly's and, blue and yellow, purple pills and Percocet was the
Percocet. Never had a song.
The Future song, right?
The syrup.
Yeah, sipping on scissor, right? It's just like that thing kind of creeped into it. But before it was just okay, maybe getting drunk, smoking weed. You might have heard about that. And it's just like, man, these guys they started rapping about doing drugs like stuff you only hear about Esau doing like that.
Right.
Now it's like we're into that same kind of stuff on the same level or worse. It's just like, when did this happen? But it's like every year, just more and more. Now it's the norm.
Like time is the great equalizer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Time passed, problems that could have been solved, they pile up. Now you have a problem. Now you need more drugs. Right? Even if people seem to be doing okay, after a while, time will tell you if you've been doing okay. Time will tell you if you've been doing okay. With the problem solving, this problem, that problem, right? Time will tell you. Are you doing good? Time will tell you if you've been doing okay. I mean, as time progresses, even we in the truth, we're gonna be tested on our ability to solve this problem, our ability to solve social issues, our ability to solve financial issues, right? If we've been getting the lesson that we're getting it right, our ability to use the scriptures to solve these problems, all that will be put in the balance as time.
I see your hand. If you guys are on the web, you'll see like these little ads, not always on YouTube, but just, you see, little picture ads sometimes where it's like, sometimes you can tell it's like junk. Like it'll have like a celebrity or something, and it's like, see why this person won't get hired in Hollywood anymore, or look at what happened to this person. Like it'll be a picture of them, but it's like you look at them, you go, whoa, I know they're not that old, right? Like they just came out, maybe 5-10 years ago, and they show a picture of them, and it's just like, dang, what happened with so and so? Like they look like the face is all sunken in, or they might have, either they look emaciated, or they might have gained a whole bunch of weight, and the ad is like, click here to find out what happened to so and so. Why they're not getting hired anymore? It's like, clickbait. Like I said, sometimes it's BS, other times it's real. It's like they either do. It's always a thing of extremes, right? Never the in between. It's like either I just totally just don't eat, or whatever I'm consuming just makes me look wasted away, or I just overindulge and I gain all types of weight, and it's just like, oh man, look at so and so's beach body now. Ugh, But I keep seeing these little ads for like actors and actresses and like celebrities, where it's just like, look at what happened to them. You say to yourself, yeah, but they made it. They got the hot gig, the hot role, they got the money, everything is cool. But then you see them going through these weird changes, or like we're talking about, you mentioned with Kanye, other people, it's like saying all types of weird stuff, doing all types of weird stuff that you would think, I would never think someone like that say something like this, do something like that. At least what I thought I knew about them shows us even too. We can't just look at what we see on the screen. You can see certain things from people, even if you don't know them, right? In an interview, see their body language, way they respond to certain questions, you can see, but then you might see them later on in the same interview or a different interview. It's just like something's troubling them. You look at the eyes, like the scriptures say, he winking with his eyes, he speaking with his feet, he teaches with his fingers, right? Like out of all the body language, like the scriptures speak on the 3 key areas you always look at somebody to see something, like a red flag. Like usually the feet tell you something, somebody's hands, they'll be talking, they kind of, I think of someone at camp the other week too, where they came to the camp, you see like, I kept shuffling, they kept doing this with their hands, you just like, what's going on? Like, relax. It's just a conversation, we're not attacking you here, let's just relax. Let's dialogue. Let's just talk about it. You'll see how they respond, or you'll see like their eyes, the way they look around, or the way they may look at somebody or not look at somebody. You say to yourself, it's not who I thought they were, or it's still them, but they must be going through something. And from that point, it's a speculation unless you know them personally. All you know is what the tabloids tell you. So, yeah, like you said, time being an equalizer. That's the truth. Samakin and the Kwa.
It's like I mean, I said it before, it's a decision making process from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, year 1, year 2, every day is an accumulation of all the decisions and choices that in the moment it seems like it didn't make any difference whether you put left and right, but it does make a difference. But you won't even find out until later on, 5 years, 10 years from now, right? It's like, let's say for example, you're pushing a car, like the car that needs the carburetor to start. Like you push, you get pushed. Then eventually, car gonna catch momentum and it starts. But how are you gonna differentiate between the first push and the last push? It's all the push together, right? That make the car start. So from you one making the decision, that decision, this decision, in the moment it doesn't matter. But everything add up together gonna come up to what it is. That's why given time, you'll see what happens. You may not be able to see it in the moment, the result, but the result gonna speak at the end. But the result, you can predict it. It's just like the Most High create the end from the beginning, right? The Most High already knows what the result is before the end begins. right? Because he created everything from the beginning. You already know by making this decision is what he's gonna get. So you already know what the result's gonna be before you even get there. So it's the same thing with us. Whatever decision we make today, we don't have to wait 5 years to see what it's gonna be. If we can make the same one, and then every day it's gonna amount to what it is.
Yes, indeed. You can write this down too, and to link with what we just read in Proverbs. You could also link Proverbs chapter 23. Proverbs 23, verses 29, 35. Once again, Proverbs 23, verses 29 down to 35. To go with Proverbs 31, 4 to 5, which both of those link with First Esdras 3:21, where it says, "Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes?" And it says, "They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine." Right? So, yeah, as you read on, it's pretty much self-explanatory, right? If you haven't gone through it, you've seen someone that fits this bill. 31. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. You see, Solomon's getting intimate with the when you got the wine in the cup. You know how it is. Like you say, we talk about your drug. In this case, it's wine. It could be anything, right? It could be food. Certain types of food, that aren't good, but give you that dopamine. You got it in your hand, you're looking at it, you're smelling it. Yes, look at this, my baby, right? Or people do it jokingly, but it's like legit. Where they got like the bottle, and it's, I'm going to drink you. Yes, I am. Drink you down, right? Because they know what the feeling they're going to get once they ingest it. That's what the Solomon is talking about here when he says, "Don't look at it when it's red, when it giveth his color in the cup." Because now it's like you got the unhinged lust now for the wine, where it's just like, yeah, I can't wait to drink you down, and the way you're going to make me feel, once I do. That's why it says in 32, like you were saying earlier, Papa, about most already knows. If you stay on this course, here's what the end's going to be. That's where verse 32 comes in. It says, "At the last, it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder." What's that? You going to the hospital. What's that? You done broke a beer bottle over your best friend's head or something. You done got into a fight with your significant other. You done hit a pedestrian. You done hit a child, right? Standing on the corner. You done gone up on the curb and killed a kid. And it's like, how do you take that back? And you having fun, 5 minutes ago. Now you realize what happened. It's just like, your heart just drops. Like, oh, SHI just got real, as they say, right? I took a life because of me goofing off. I'm just throwing a couple scenarios out there, but that's what it's talking about when it talks about what this can lead to when you do it too much as opposed to just a little bit. Then it says, "Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things." Going to all the people that you'll see, place you'll go. What do you say? Place to go, things to see, was the things to do. Then they switch it up. They say places to be, people to do, right? As far as fornication. I worded it wrong, but they'll switch it up. But you get what I'm saying. "Yeah, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast." Right? So you're like in the middle of the sea, no hope, right? Where can you go? No land to anchor yourself, right? You're just out there. It says, "They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again." See, that's the foolish mentality, right? You're trying to figure out, I didn't entertain anything or do anything wrong. They're coming at me, right? I'm way out there with this. But hey, once I come down, I want to go through that again. It's just like, dude, you were totally out of your mind when you were drunk off that stupor, right? You had all types of problems, you know, with strangers, even people that you knew. And then after you come back down off your high, it's like, I want to seek it again. That's the mentality. That's how it works. When you don't work the scriptures. So yeah, that's the flesh unhinged, right? Give me more. So yeah, Proverbs 23, 29, and 35, giving us edification on this. Let me read on though in Esdras. This is first Esdras chapter 3. And we got a couple more verses left. First Esdras chapter 3 and verse 22, it says, when they are in their cups, they forget their love both to friends and brethren, and a little after draw out swords. See that? Same thing. Now you're ready to go to blows with people you care about. Right? Only until afterwards do you realize. Because we know if we have people in our family, right? I can probably say with a certain amount of confidence, you know, with every family in Israel, you got at least one person, right? One uncle, one cousin, one somebody, right? That's an addict of some sort or another, right? And then when they come around, the family, they all know, here comes so-and-so, asking for some money. We know what they want to use the money for. Tell them to go down the street, right? You know, we didn't try to work with so-and-so. We didn't try to work with him or her as much as we can. They never seem to get it. We didn't put them in rehab. They didn't relapse every time, right? We got our own lives to live, right? We don't have the time or money left. We gotta take care of our own family. Here they come again, right? Like the Samuel Jackson in Jungle Fever, right? That was him. Yeah. I do it. You know, I do it, right? We all got that family member. Right. Right. And for some of us, all praise to the Most High, blessed be His mercy, we may have been that family member. We may have been that one at one point, you know? Through the grace of the Most High, through His mercy, here we are. So this guy giving his speech, he's right, you know, as far as the strength of wine, not to be doubted. Of course, we expanded it out to other things, but, you know, you get the idea that, you know, you overindulge in these things, that can lead you to say and do all types of foul things.
Right. Sometimes you can't have a serious conversation with men, right? Because I experienced a guy, this guy's an partner to me, right? After that, I realized the guy was drunk. He didn't live at me. I said that. I said, yeah, he said, man, you know?
Right. Like when we're at camp, right? We may hopefully we don't have like you know, some cologne on or some frankincense, because you know, I know I've had to catch myself. You know, I've gotten better at it, but me going back and forth with somebody and they get close and I get a whiff and I go, oh, I'm wasting my time. There's no point me even going to the scriptures with this person, because it's only what the 6th hour of the day or the 9th hour of the day. This person's already, it's not even Saturday night yet. It's still the Sabbath, and they come to the camp.
Right.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, they keep their composure. They're not like, you know, but then they get close enough, you're like, oh, somebody's been drinking. And it's like, oh, that's right, we got to turn the brakes. Here, you know what? Let's talk about this later. Take this flyer or go on down the block, because there's not much we can talk about. In Ecclesiasticus, when you read down, it goes into that. Don't chastise, don't tell them off. Right. If you have like a function or like a party or something, and, you know, don't even go back and forth with them. Just try to guide them the best you can. Try to keep them calm, get them into the car safely, right? If you got a plastic bag or something, keep it on hand in case they need to, you know, so they don't mess up your back seat, right? But don't even go back and forth. Don't even argue with a person like that. Say, okay, we're going home now. We're going home. Okay, we're going home. Come on, this way.
Put that song on.
Drake's song.
And some people, they hold their liquor pretty good. You can tell when
Yeah. Right.
That's why it's like it's tough when you're drinking good. But the guy said, man, no problem, no problem. I'll donate this to the cause. The next day I said, man, you remember? Yeah, I'm coming to pick up the soda. What are you talking about? Did I really say? I said, yeah, man. You said it. You know I was drunk. But he never gave the impression that he was drunk. Everybody said
Don't donate. I'm not donating anything. Donating to what cause? Donate.
I didn't tell you that.
Yeah, so
Yeah. That's what they say. Don't drink the brown liquor. The brown liquor is like, hey, you can smell it a mile away. The white liquor, clear liquor, hard to tell you on the clear liquor.
Yeah.
Vodka. Yes, indeed.
And you know who knows that well, right? Certain alcoholics.
Yeah.
They know that well.
Just say, okay, I got to do this. I got to go here. I drink this today. They got it all mapped out. They got the habit mapped out. Strategic addiction. Yeah, man. Because, like you brothers are bringing out, that's the way to maintain a habit that you know is bad for you. You have to figure out ways to mask it, right? You can figure out ways to mask it to family and friends and associates. You can continue partaking, and you know that no one's gonna, get on your back. You're like, oh, you're doing a little bit too much of that, and then now you gotta tell them, hey, don't cramp my style, that Hendrix song, my vibe, don't pick my vibe. we want to stop that vibe. That's not a vibe you want to be on. It's gonna get you hurt. Or you mentioned the J. Cole album. I thought about Kendrick's old album, the Section 80. We'll be talking about that whole thing, as far as generation that grew up, in crack. How that affects the kids that they had, not only biologically, but even like socially. And like we read, it doesn't care about whether you're rich or poor. We see it takes the poor of our people, it takes the celebrities of our people to have money. It doesn't care. Crack and alcohol, it doesn't care about, oh, you got a #1 album, or consecutive album, so you got all this money in the bank. It doesn't care. Sees the money in the bank, goes, oh, perfect. Now you can buy a whole lot of us, right? And that goes to, I think it was, he's probably not the only one, but I think Cat Williams had that one of his stand-ups. He was talking about, being broke is a blessing for a certain number of us, because you only got, say $20 to your name. You go to the liquor store, you got a cap. You can only buy for so much. So take that same person, get them, $1 million, buy a whole lot more, and destroy themselves. So it's like the blessing of being broke sometimes for a person who doesn't have that control.
some celebrities, they control that is, they make sure they have no liquor at home.
Mm-hmm.
You go to their house, you won't find any liquor.
Mm-hmm.
They only drink it or something when they out and partying. But when your kids come to their home, to their family, they got nothing. If you want something to drink, you're not gonna find one.
You gotta go down the street.
So reading on in let's read that in Ecclesiasticus. Let's read the rest of it, and then I think that we'll be done. Yeah. So you read I'll read 29 and 30. That's the last two. I think those match the best with First Esdras 3 and 22. So Ecclesiasticus 31 and 29. It says, but wine drunken with excess maketh bitterness of the mind with brawling and quarreling. Right? So you're fighting and you're arguing, right? And you get bitter in your mind, right? Somebody bump into you, say the wrong thing the wrong way, right thing even the wrong way, you got problems. Verse 30, drunkenness increaseth the rage of a fool till he offend. It diminishes strength and maketh wounds. Right? So you got beer, your beer muscles, right? You think you're tough, but you're not tough. Right? You're trying to fight, but then the person that you piss off is probably sober. They're like, look at this guy. I don't care. He's still an a-hole, right? I'm gonna knock him out. You get knocked out, and you don't even know what happened because you're still in your stupor. It says, and maketh wounds. So now, the next day, you wake up, right? You feel in your jaw. You're like, oh, what happened? You got scratches on your arms, on your knees. You're like, I got scratch. I got a bruise on my. How did I get this? I got bumped into something. Going real fast. How did that happen?
Basically, time you try to make an excuse of, say, this happened, I did this, I did that. I bumped into something, must be something. Not that you might have gotten into a fight or something.
Right.
I know, I'm in the middle. I had wait in the bar, I woke up the next morning, I didn't know what happened. I couldn't believe I went through it.
Yeah, and even if it's not even to the level of getting in a fight with somebody, your hand-eye coordination is just not there. Sometimes you might get little minor cuts and bruises and bumps just from bumping into furniture, walking in the walls. You say it's kind of ridiculous, it's like you just walked into the doorway. Like, the doorway stops and starts here. You like walk through it halfway. You're like, oh, what happened? So even that, it can lead to you fighting with somebody, and that's even worse. But even without that, just the environment is not your enemy. You drink too much. Yeah, it's crazy. 31, it says, rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine, we were talking about earlier, right? As far as this, keep them calm, don't say too much, help them into the back seat, right? Get them home, get them into their house, if it's a friend, make sure they find their way home. Or if you're too far away, just, let them crash on the couch or something. Rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine, and despise him not in his mirth. Give him no despiteful words. Once again, camp, right? Oh, wait a minute. It's early in the day. I just realized we can't even talk about this right now. Let's talk about this later as far as the truth, because right now what I'm saying really isn't going to click like that anyway. Give him no despiteful words, impress not upon him with urging him to drink, right? Definitely don't give incentive to drink some more. You see clear the person is gone, right? It's way over the edge, right? All types of bent, like we were saying earlier. But yeah, prudent. Back to first Esdras chapter 3. I'll read 22 and 23 again and close it. It says, when they are in their cups, they forget their love both to friends and brethren, and a little after draw out swords. But when they are from the wine, they remember not what they have done. No recollection, right? After it's all said and done. Esau made a comedy, right? Then he got two parts to them. What's the Hangover? He got a movie about this thing, right? And the thing was a success. People going to see the movie and they crack it up like, that was me last weekend. Yeah. Or, yeah, that was me. What was it? The one guy, he woke up, he had a tattoo on his face. And he's like, when did I get a tattoo? It's just like, you got that wasted? You got a tattoo on your face? Really?
But that's a great name.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's a great name.
in the movies, like, they're trying to, they're not really going at the morality issue. Like, they're celebrating it. It's like, even if they did have some kind of morality in there, like, yeah, we need to stop this. We're destroying our lives, our families. That's not the message that gets sent across. The message is, yeah, that was me. That's me. That's me tonight. Crazy.
Right. And any little thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they got they probably have a list for that too. They say the different types of drunks, the different types of highs.
Going through his problems and said, look at my life.
Yeah, so you got those types. You got the philosophical ones that they start, connecting dots and going into deep stuff. You got people who just get loud for no reason, like they got headphones on, just yelling. It's like, dude, I'm right here. Why are you yelling? Yeah. It affects different people different ways.
That's hard. I don't know. It's hard in the parking lot. These guys stuff there.
Wow.
Especially if it's in the parking lot.
You need to be careful with that, especially if it's like a parking garage or one of those outdoor parkings, because he gets caught on camera or witnesses. But yeah, first Esdras 3 and 24. Oh, ye men, is not wine the strongest that enforceth to do thus? And when he had so spoken, he held his peace. So, yeah, we're going to see next time we read this is if it's the strongest of them all. But we see, yeah, wine is definitely an influencer. Wine definitely has strength. Definitely can take advantage of us, right? I think we know that much. So when we get to Esdras again in a couple of weeks, we'll see. Yeah, the other answers from the other men. All right, so here we'll make an end for the service. For next week, we're going back to the Old Testament, or I should say, the Law of Moses. We're going to be reading Leviticus 23 and 20. Leviticus 24 and 25. Stop. Because we already did 23, so we're going to do 24 and 25 for next week. And also remember too, I'll make sure to send a text message out tonight too to the distribution. Next Tuesday at sundown is going to be the fourth new moon. Make sure you have that on your radar too.
Right?
Next Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm.
Also, Feast of First Fruits, July 7th.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of that too. We're about a month away from that.
About a month away from that. Our Holy Day dues also will be due.
Right. So $100 for the Feast of First Fruits
Or
per household.
per household, what they're able.
Right, or what you're able to do. Okay.
You say Leviticus 24 and 25.
Yes, for next week. And then new moon next Tuesday. All right. Okay. So with that, we'll say a Shar Shabbat or Happy Sabbath. Hope everybody was edified. Sorry about the second half of the service. Seemed like we were having some weird stuff going on with the live stream. Even though it looks pretty clear here, but hope you're able to get most of it and go back in time on the YouTube so you can see it over again if you need to. So with that, we'll do the closing prayers. Most High will talk to you this upcoming week. Have a blessed one. Keep it safe. Stay in the spirit. That's all we got. Something like you're funny. You like,
You all right?
You know, put on a lady with an outfit like this. I think that, man, this guy's a good voodoo piece. And then that voodoo with that blue, red, man, stay away from this. Voodoo, yeah. Yeah, stay away from this guy. This guy, he's, don't mess with him, you know? He's voodoo,
Red and blue.
Yeah, rather than especially with this right here, they don't know what it is. And anything that look weird,
Shoot. So I might be thinking about Haiti. I'm thinking about if he goes to Queens, certain parts of Queens, he might have some trouble. It might try to dap you up in Queens, like, yo, what's up, blood? Like, what? Oh, no, not me.
That's right. He said, yeah. I mean, if people looking for me, I'm right here.
Yeah. Guys like little bloods right here.
Right.
We got that Cuban on too. Oh, little bloods, you got that Cuban on. Yeah.
Christian blood. You see that blood?
Cuban link chain, type chain.
Oh, they will break the outfit down. Who's it mean something? But he got that white belt. Ah, man.
He just an ordinary guy walking the street.
Sure, that's what you want us to think.
That's like what's his name? Shy Allen used to kind of parallel that.
Yeah.
You would think, yeah, okay, I get it. Wonder what happened.
My brother.
This is America.
All right, it's not easy.
And beautiful. Brunswick.
You guys want to hear about that? Hey, you want to miss?
This is the real. Oh.
That's why I gotta get money.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Yeah.
No.
Barakathe Hawa, Bashimi Hawa Shai, Ashura, listen now, Paria Gapin, Tuara Amun. La Hawa, Bashimi Hawa Shai, Ath, Yashra. English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it, to Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, with Israel. Amadwa, Panyuwa Jerusalem, stand face Jerusalem. Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai, Babakushai, Shemai, Lanawa, Aifa, Yam Yan, Aifa, Shalak, Mike Allah, Walla Allahayim, Tazwadakim, La Shema Ayo, Barak, Rapab, Magan, Wakazayak, Banya, Yash Allah, Washalak, Lanawa, Rabiam, Kakamad, Rabiam, Da'ai, Rabiam, Mayanad, Rabiam, Sabalanwaf, Rabiam, Mama One, Rabiam, Aqua, Rabiam, Mahaviam, Rabiam, Haganad, Rochanaya, Wasalak, Kau Katayam Nawa, La Akiam, Wa Akiwa, we are Sha'alat and Yad, why Willam, Basham, Yehoshai, Wada, Aman. English translation. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please listen to us now. Send Mike on the righteous powers to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the children of Israel. Send to us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, much love, much spiritual protection, and forgive all our sins. For the brothers, sisters in Israel, always and forever, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you. So be it. Four corners prayer. Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai, Barak Nawa, Weyash Allah, Wabat Yasapariam, Shema, Yashirallah, Yahweh, Elohai Nawa, Yahweh. English translation. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless us in Israel in the house of books. Then we said, Hear, O Israel, Lord our God is one Lord. But once again, we'll say Shalom Yasharallah, Shah Shabbat, and we'll be talking to you this upcoming week. Everyone be blessed, stay in the spirit.
Shalom.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Okay, men circle up. All right. We'll do a little review again. We'll go through the prayers more than once. To the men of Israel, Amawa, Barakwa.
Yahweh.
Hashem Yahushua.
Come.
That's Yahweh. Everybody say, repeat after me. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahasham.
Bahasham.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Barak.
Barak.
Atham.
Atham.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahasham.
Bahasham.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Barak.
Barak.
Atham.
Atham.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahasham.
Bahasham.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Barak.
Barak.
Atham.
Atham.
Okay. Shabbat.
That's Shabbat.
Shabbat.
That's Shabbat.
Why we're not doing, everybody should very good.
Who saying that?
Everybody should. We're back in the
You got different things, huh? You put on there.
Don't you like those? They fly.
Not bad.
I like these too.
That's
Nice.
right.
And see all the gold and the silver. Oh, man.
Use the,
Some of that.
use this to put some oil on flour or your salad. Yeah,
Olive oil serves many purposes.
yes, hey, that's a fly base stuff.
Yeah, that would be there for like years. Dude, that's no cork.
Yeah, I know, and the leaks went to the thing.
Yeah, man.
Leaky. Oh, look at that. I don't need to hold it like that.
Oh.
Yeah, so I need to hold the hand with my hand. I'm doing the
I didn't even notice that.
I just looked down.
This is crack. For you.
Oh, man.
I think that's pain.
Yeah, you got me thinking of a 50 Cent song. What up, blood? What? What up, blood? What up?
What up, gangsta?
Gangsta.
What up, bud?
What up, blood?
What up, brethren?
Brethren.
He's taking
Brethren.
he's taking
Who's taking an L?
What? Taking the L, like I said earlier.
blood to a new level.
Might be scared about the camp today, man.
Brethren.
I might try to.
Have a picture sent to the group. Did you see it?
So I might try to dap you up at camp, man.
No, I had that. I remember I had that happen when I was down in Atlanta. I went to see the brothers in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I had my chain with Sheila David. And there's a gang, the Sons of Solomon, the Kings, something Solomon. And they use a shield too. And